Hello, my name is Ed, and I'm here today with Dr. Divi Chanada from the Mind Body Spirit Center in Vancouver, British Columbia. Dr. Chanada, how are you today?
Great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I was wondering if it would be okay if I asked you a few questions over the next several minutes.
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay, so starting with the first question, how would you define pain?
So let's talk about pain. Pain can be anything from physical to mental to emotional. Most people think of pain as just a physical issue, that their leg hurts, their back hurts, their knee hurts. But really pain tends to compromise the whole thing. Pain tends to, when people's knees hurt, it's not just their knees. They tend to be emotionally tired or mentally tired. So when clients see me for pain issues, a lot of them see me for definitely the physical pain. But really, I work with the people with all kinds of different pains, from mental to emotional to spiritual. So I think of pain as a conglomeration of all of that.
Wonderful. Thank you. As a physician, Dr. Chanana, what caused you to look outside the medical mainstream for helping people dealing with pain?
It's a great question. So in the medical mainstream model, what we do when it comes to pain is approach it from the outside. So if your knee hurts or your back hurts or your shoulder hurts, we give you medications, we do physio, we look at just the body. And that's great. The medications can be very helpful temporarily, and physio and massage, excellent, amazing temporarily, or whatever adjunctive treatment we're using. But really, when it comes to chronic pain, in my own personal experience, it can only be relieved once we get to know ourselves. In my own story, I had chronic pain when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, and I was shocked that my pain actually started to shift when I started to actually shift emotions. When I was less angry, less guilty, less sad, my pain actually started to lift. And then that began this journey of what I do now, where I now know deep to my core that everything that is on the physical pain level is actually a mental and emotional thing. So why don't I approach it medically? Is simply because that's only looking at it from the outside, but really what's going on is deeper on the inner level.
I'm wondering if you could just elaborate a little bit more. So if I could just guess, what I'm understanding is that pain is more than just physical?
Yeah, so the physical body is made up of a layer of the body called your fascia, which is F-A-S-C-I-A. And that fascia layer is thought to be, basically the fascia runs across all of the tissue, all of the organs of the body, the muscles, everything. When you cut the body open, as gross as that might sound, it's literally covered in this thin layer of what's called fascia. So that fascia, according to German scientists, is innervated with nerves that connect to your mind and your emotions. Now let's just back up to something really simple. We all know about fight or flight. Fight or flight is when your sympathetic nervous system is in overdrive, your blood pressure goes up, your heart rate goes up, your muscles contract.
And that can be big or small, right? So fight or flight doesn't necessarily mean life or death situations. It could be something like getting a nasty email or a stressful phone call. Your body could go into fight or flight.
Exactly. And what most people don't realize, you hit it right on the head, what most people don't realize is a lot of us are in chronic fight or flight. And what the Beatles, back from the 1960s, taught us was that they actually showed physicians and scientists, unbeknownst to them, that there was an ability to increase the parasympathetic nervous system. So I want to share with you a little story on that. So as you probably remember, the Beatles brought so much to the West, not to North America, not just their music, but they also, were big on marijuana and big on like the East and India. And
so what I'm guessing is when they introduced the Maharishi into popular culture.
Exactly. And then scientists actually went and studied them and studied their brains and noticed that they were actually stimulating what's called the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the opposite of the sympathetic. So your blood pressure can go down, your heart rate can go down, your breathing rate can go down, your muscles can let go. And what's really cool was, so prior to the early 70s, when Dr. Benson studied them, we used to think that you couldn't access your parasympathetic nervous system. So everyone who was like living and alive and seeing doctors back then used to think, okay, if your fight or flight's on, there's nothing we could do. When Dr. Benson studied the Beatles and studied their brains, they realized that when you tap into your breathing rate, the only thing that worked, tap into your breathing rate and slow it down, you actually stimulated the parasympathetic nervous system that did the opposite of fight or flight, so relax the muscles to let go of pain.
So if I was to understand correctly, then what you're getting at is this means there is hope.
Oh, 100% there's hope. Really what I try to get people to understand is the mind and body are so intricately connected. And there's so much going on more with the mind than we realize. Like you said, it can be a small email or an issue with your kid or boss. And that can get your mind, as most of our listeners know, thinking all the time. And then it just chugs and chugs and chugs into thinking mode. But when we're doing that without realizing it, we're actually stimulating the sympathetic nervous system. So when you access different parts of your mind, you can actually start to create new neural pathways which aren't in anger or fear so often. And when you start to lay out new neural pathways that are different, that's actually, when we can start to heal. So, there's complete hope, 100% hope.
Fantastic. Can you talk to me a little bit more about the mental and emotional connection to pain?
100%. So the mind and body are so connected. We've all heard of mind body. That's why our center is called the Mind Body Spirit Center. So most of our listeners may know that in Course in Miracles, they say that there's only really two emotions, love and fear. And God, that sounds simple, doesn't it? Love and fear, so simple. But a lot of us are very trained in the mind and emotional realm into fear. We just fire in fear all the time. And so when we're firing in fear without even knowing it, and that's the key thing, most of us don't even know it. When we're firing in fear consciously or unconsciously, what happens is it tightens the body, so that's the mind. And then the emotions start to wire like crazy, and then we get the sympathetic, and then we get the muscles tightening, and everything starts to go downhill. But when we start to stimulate the other emotion of love, that's when we heal. And I can tell you from my own journey and working with so many clients that it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time and patience and practice. And when you start to wake up these new neural pathways, then your body can let go of pain. But it is stimulating that love piece. And as I teach in my workshops, it's actually love or higher. But most of us have no clue how to do that because we only know how to do what our brain's been taught.
So I've got a two-part question here. If what you're saying is true, then how do we heal pain? And after you answered that, can you give us some tips?
For sure. So how we heal pain is really by relaying new neural pathways. So by relaying new neural pathways, by working with our mind can actually be our best friend. And when we start to work with the mind and start to lay new neural pathways of love and peace and ease and joy and freedom, then what starts to happen is we actually start to feel better. But the thing is, you have to be willing to start mentally and emotionally and leave the physical alone. In fact, in Course in Miracles, it says that our physical body is just an effect. So if you think of cause and effect, most people, when they think of cause and effect, let's just talk about money for a sec. They think of the effect as the money in the bank account, right? You go to the bank, you withdraw 20 bucks. The cause is not the bank account. The cause is you going to your job. That's what most people think. I have to go to work, I make some money, it goes into my bank account. Think cause and effect, right? Cause is your job. Money is the effect of your bank. So think of that with your body. In Course in Miracles, it teaches us that your body is an effect of the mind. So your mind is the cause and the effect is your body. If your back is giving you pain, are you going to go yell at your body? No, what they teach us in Course in Miracles is we have to go to the cause. We have to work with your mind. Just think about money. If you didn't have $20 in your bank account, would you go yell at the banker? No, right? You're not going to yell at the banker. You got to go make 20 bucks. You got to go to work. Got to go and sell magazines or whatever you do for work. So cause and effect. So yelling at your body, tinkering with your body, giving your body hardship is not going to shift the cause. But if you're willing to look at your mind, emotions, and thoughts, oh my God, that's where the juice of healing your body comes.
Fantastic. So just before we wrap up here, I'm just wondering if there's anything else you'd like to add.
I'd like to add that I really, truly, deeply believe this is possible for everybody. When I work with my clients, I always joke and say, I'm stubborn. I was 19 when I got into medical school, so my left brain is so fired, so wired, and I can be very stubborn. And a lot of people know that. But I always say that if I can shift physical pain, then anyone can. So in the workshops I teach and the one-to-one sessions I do, we're all teaching you how to do that. And one thing I've learned from working with other people is we're never meant to do it alone. We're meant to do it with people. And the working with pain is a journey. It's not just a one-off, oh, let's fix it. It's a journey of your mind and your emotions, your conscious, your subconscious, your unconscious. But the thing I want most people to know is that it's possible.
Well, thank you so much for visiting with us today.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.